Next, we're going to have Moumita Zaman, who is a youth coordinator for Turning Point for Women and Families, which is a recent, in the past 3 years, a domestic violence organization that just started in Queens, working with Muslim women and families. She holds a BA in post-colonial science from Queens College and plans to pursue a career in psychology. She recently discovered to her relief that she is never any one thing all the time. Alhamdulillah, however, it is a given that she is always game for kite flying and rasmalai.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. I just really wanted to take a little moment to thank the women of the workshop, because this past year they've been so supportive and brave, and they've taught me how. So I have a couple of pieces I want to read. The first one is How It Began. Accused of being a poet, what you said became criminal confessions. Heretic, they claimed. How dare you say that the one revealed himself to you? His words poured down on you, thunderous, at first only as sounds. Louder, and you tried to deny it. The pounding grew so heavy, the sounds tightened into syllables, and crescendoed, crested in your chest. Nearly breaking, you begged. Syllables gathered meaning and turned into words. Ears ringing, in fear you fled. In the darkness you fumbled, desperately seeking reassurance from her who loved you best. Yet, how could either of you have known the change that was coming? That this was the beginning of becoming a lover engulfed, marked, all of history inscribed on your lips. They heard the news and arrived in waves. Tell us, what was it like? You replied, it was a small moment when you found your old self had slipped away. Time collapsed and the sky expanded. Saw things from the front, back, and sides, caught a glimpse of freedom, and it became a horizon you had to chase. It was like everything had conspired to bring you to this point, pregnant with longing, finally giving up to the words that came. Waiting, remembering. She stands with one foot resting on the edge of the white bathtub. Her face is bent over as she carefully pours water on the bloodied gauze, separating it from the angry, scabby skin. Slow, steady, with surgical precision, she attempts to unveil her knee. The latch on the door rattles, and the mirror over the sink shakes. Grown-up voices run after each other, chasing, cursing, and crashing. The television responds to an empty couch. Breaking news, an impending aerial strike and the stationing of ground troops in neighboring allied nations. They'll stream in from the north and south, just like before. She straightens and observes her work. The wound has browned and hardened. The soiled gauze lies in the tub, discarded. She leans against the door and listens to the noise outside. Something has tipped over, fallen and broken. The voices leap and attack. She recognizes the pattern of their arguments. She waits, tracing her fingers over the scab, assessing the damage. She remembers that this has happened before. She remembers when the Mongols invaded and how she turned them into lovers and artisans. This poem's for my brother. He's not here. He's in Cairo studying. So it's titled Bhaiya, which means brother in Bangla. Bhaiya. All the tactics in the world, learn to keep from harm's way. Can do very little when I've only taught myself to fight against something walking, breathing. I worry about you crossing borders, having to explain away the reasons for coming and going. Facing yet another holding area, suitcases rummaged through, without your knowing. Naturally, then, I worry about distance and about losing sight of you while you go out there to find yourself. I panic and recite Surah Yasin, hoping that the sacred words will rise upwards and float sideways to find and wrap themselves around you. All the tactics in the world, learn to keep from harm's way, can do very little when you've only taught yourself to fight against something walking, breathing. You fret when I feel broken by words intended to hurt and malign. Your years of scholarship are not enough to help me find a place of acceptance and understanding. Ancient texts turn into game words when they fail to bring comfort to heart displaced. I'm left anxiously mining through the ruins. Naturally then, you mourn the loss of reason, and having to watch me retreat within while I attempt to regain my footing. You panic and recite Surah Doha, hoping that the sacred words will rise upwards and float sideways, to find and wrap themselves around me. Cancer. There is no healing left in feeling angry or raw, because I fear that I will forget you. The you before cancer. Before chemo came and gave you its makeover. Blue-black tipped nails, patches of blood clots blossoming on your skin, or the scalp deforested of its hair, showing the indentations where they sawed your skull, and the staple marks to put you back together again. I refuse to name all the things that went wrong, from the diagnosis, the medications, and to the surgeries. I will not sit and list all the walking egos in white lab coats who were mostly playing crapshoot with your health. And we considered ourselves lucky because there was a network of physicians and experts in the family, in the community. We thought we were better off than the other colored folks, immigrants and the poor, who did not have the privilege to learn the language of white lab coats like sue, lawyer, malpractice, and negligence. We watched them get played. It hurt to see it happen, but it taught us to fight hard, and still, so many things went wrong. White lab coats induced you into a coma, an experiment they were trying in their Ivy League medical school, saying it was the only way to end the seizures. You never woke up. 5 years of a household under siege of hospital furniture, visiting nurses, stacks of mail from Medicaid, of rehabilitation exercise posters and pill canisters. All these years watching Ma running back and forth from office to office because she refused to become an orphan. Boo-boo, it was impossible to let you go for her, for all of us. But pneumonia struck on an early spring day, and her heart rate kept sinking and sinking. We stood for a week in prayer, in reverence by your bed and your failing heart, pushed the bastard white lab coats away, whispered the Shahada, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Take this with you. It's all that matters, all that's left. Some color returned to your face. Noon, we said. Death came with grace. Sorry. This is the last piece. Listen carefully. Here's what you need to do. Match scarf with outfit, please. Make sure it rests on your face properly. Have a good bag. Style may vary. One day, it might be a paisley printed cloth stitched carefully by small brown hands, bright, vibrant colors that voice loudly how proud you are of your ethnicity. Or if you prefer, the sturdy, large leather tote softened and shaped by heavy books. This way, an onlooker may note the weight of the wealth and knowledge being carried. Better yet, learn to read while walking, to abet the image and keep a stranger's gaze at bay. Swing the hand holding the book, signaling street Lotharios to hold back on their advances, to put the flimsy compliments away. Avoid the streets where your men congregate. But if you must, keep your head up, shoulders back, and posture straight. Meet stare with stare, do not blink. Screw up your face and cough at the stench of hookah and curry. Then pretend nonchalance. Put on the face you practice all night. Make it kind, not meek, strong, but not militant. Smile and be mindful of your environment. Look long at people's eyes and listen intently to their words. Learn to walk fast with purpose. Jostle, duck, skip, and sidestep for a seat or position. Shove right back when someone assumes you will easily give way. Claim the space that you occupy without hesitation.